posted a story that I don't really want to be a story. This video's, I don't think, gonna be like my other videos. This race is not gonna be like these other races. A lot has been changing in the past year. And those changes are only accelerating. There's a new curiosity for me. It's in somewhere. To figure out how to live well. To be okay with myself. But how do I do that? What is okay? So maybe it's not so much about what is okay, but it's more about accepting. How do I accept myself?
Lucky to be here. This race was almost canceled. So I'm very sorry that we could not hang a ribbon yesterday, but we had some really other pretty urgent problems to take care of. There's still an ATV totaled off at the side of the mountain. It's in the woods. You may see it when the sun comes up. It's tangled up in a barbed wire fence, so we need to figure out how to get that out of there next week. This poor guy's ATV is completely totaled. So here's the deal.
Everybody grab a piece.
So it gives me a lot to think about for future years in order to get a few more runners out here with you guys for future editions. But in the meantime, keep forward, look to the future, and it says maybe perhaps first year races, they do come with a lot of stress and a few hiccups. And so I thank you so much for your patience while we get you guys all parked and settled in here last night. And again, I'm glad your toenails are down.
You have to run fast now. It's all over now.
guess I'm making this for me. There's a way at some point, maybe I come back and see this. There's a way to think about. Not to think about, but just to feel. What is this?
Yeah, you're cruising, brother. I keep trying not to fall looking at that sunrise.
As things change in me, I'm curious to explore what that means for my running.
Well,
Stops throughout the race. So I have in my pack 10 tarot cards. At each aid station, I have no idea which tarot cards they are. I'm going to draw a new card to give me advice for that stretch. Alright, card number 1, Judgment. Alright, Judgment is finding truth. I'm gonna find some truth on this section.
yeah.
Alright, thanks, brothers.
Indian words such as dhyana, which in Chinese is Chan and in Japanese Zen, and we use it to translate words like yoga and sadhana, which means more or less a spiritual discipline. But the function of what we call meditation in the East is a process for changing consciousness, changing the quality of consciousness, changing the way in which you experience your own existence. And as you know, all over the world, with some exceptions among quite primitive people, we experience our existence in a rather odd way. That is to say, as being isolated individuals, highly disconnected from the external world. We feel that we are almost strangers in the earth, even though we are just as symptomatic of the earth as
brother.
a tree,
Looking good, man.
or a cloud,
Go
or the
get 'em.
oceans, or a mountain. Only we move around rather more
Just
freely,
amuse myself.
and our behavior is extremely
So-
complicated.
Next aid station. card
Also, we
is
are more responsive to
Daughter
the
of
movements
Pentacles.
of nature than, say, a mountain is.
All right.
If you hit a bell, it will just say dong.
Steady.
But if you hit a human being, something much more complicated will happen. But it's quite clear that this way in which we experience our existence is a hallucination. It just doesn't fit the facts. It doesn't fit the facts of science. Because when scientists describe the behavior of human beings, or the behavior of any other living organism whatsoever, they find they can't do so unless they describe the behavior of the environment at the same time, that is to say, of the external world. And this forces one to the conclusion that what you are describing is not simply the behavior of an individual, but the behavior of what we would call a physical field. And so, in this sense, then, the individual and the field, the environment, are the same process. Only it's a highly complex process. And the difficulty we have in seeing it as a unity is simply that we suffer from a kind of myopia.
Right.
Okay, I'll
Right.
give you.
Either Creek to Hermit. Cards are saying.
some in here, but I just think
Oh, hell yeah. What's the probability of pulling the Hermit card? I shit you not, I randomly put 10 cards in a bag. Just through the Hermit card.
It's awesome.
Time to go inward.
Tell me when you're done.
Into the pain cave. Yes, pain.
And for me, I think that living well means tapping into that primordial confidence. I think for me that's been the flip. Or helping me look at it a different way, from a different angle. Because when you ask why, you also don't develop any solution to that self-anxiety and doubt and hate and whatever you want to put on it. You just let to more wine, more self-doubt, and more self-hate and egoism and loops in the mind and locked in thoughts. And so the meditation is about letting thoughts go. Just when I heard it said in so many different ways, came to really love and appreciate the idea that your brain does not stop thinking. Your mind doesn't stop wandering. Your ears are meant to hear, your nose to smell, your tongue to taste. In Buddhist psychology, apparently, thoughts are thought to be a sixth sense. Not like you can see them dead, but another way of sensing the world around you. Such that common trite misconception of meditation means make your mind stop, thoughts stop. Rather, what it means is wake up from your thoughts. Breathing and anchoring builds our mindfulness, our awareness. Put your awareness on that thought, what's going. Just touch it, observe it, and let it go.
Alright.
Okay, I'm recording.
Back to Venable, we've got. Ooh, the High Priestess.
Ooh, and this is the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You
This
should
is-
stay here
she's
with me and
the-
drink
the
beers, or
card
you
of-
should get going?
Of psychic energy
Oh,
and deep
perfect.
wisdom through stillness, but
Wait.
can spring into action at any point.
I was gonna say, I hope that doesn't mean hallucination. That's fine.
Well-
Sure it
We'll see how.
does.
Coming back to your anchor can help. And I enjoy that in the Shamatha, peaceful abiding in and out, your mind wandering back to the breath. There's also the second part of it, which allows for me to sit sort of even further back and observe what thoughts are coming in what sequence. I'm not going to hold them, I'm just going to let them come and go. And when I do that, letting the thoughts come and go, grounding myself in my body, like I said before, it's helped me realize that I'm good. I'm basically good. And my thoughts are not of me. Those thoughts of self-doubt, of those egoic thoughts, I'm not good enough, they're better than me, I need to rank myself, I need to compete, I need to be better, I need to do this better, just all these things we want. By coming back into myself, and observing those thoughts as just thoughts, but not truths, fundamental realities of myself, it creates space. In that space, I see it more for what it is. In that space, I learn, no, there's some sort of force to me, some basic goodness that's in us all, but we just obscure it with all that shit. It's hard.
Alright. Ooh, the tower. That looks like it's gonna hurt this next stretch. Uh-oh. Some sort of destruction. Maybe to
Hopefully
become
not of
something
your knees.
new. I think they've reached that point where it's like they're not gonna hurt anymore. Alright.
preaching is no good. Because on Sunday you go to church, and the preacher says, "Bah, bah, 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 bah," and lays down the law. In other words, he throws the book at you. Look at a church. The minister wears the same robes as the judge. He's got the book up there. And not only does he tell you what to do, he tells God what to do. And this endless talk fest goes on. And when you get to sing, you sing hymns. Well, hymns are religious nursery rhymes. They all have dreadful tunes and stupider words. And that's all the singing. Or maybe the choir does an anthem. Nobody dances. And there's nothing mysterious going on. Except in the Catholic Church, and they're trying to get rid of it. And no, translate the Mass into English so that everybody understands it and finds out at last what it meant after all. So, Sunday is supposed to be the day to swing. Is that God worked for 6 days and the seventh day rested. This is time out. Time out from being rational and methodical and efficient. It's like a Mardi Gras. It's like the old meaning of an orgy. A carnival. You've got to be crazy. A little. Because if you're not crazy at regular intervals, you become insane. Because you're too rigid. You don't swing in the wind. And that's how you're going to collapse. But again, the problem remains. For the rigid person, we all have a rigidity. How on earth do we release it? Because I notice that people who undertake programs of de-rigidifying themselves, maybe psychoanalysis, it may be therapy of some other kind, it may be exercises, it may be sensory awareness training, it may be encounter groups, it may be yoga, all sorts of de-rigidifying processes are done in such a grim mood. I know there's a book called You Must Relax. Because then people get into these things. They start playing games. You know, it's like people who retire. They think they're going to have fun. So they get on the golf course early in the morning. And instead of enjoying golf, which is entirely possible,
Working and living is like weaving of your warp, your fixed strings, in the weft, the things that go through.
and that gives it the interest
And the warp.
Of the prayer mat.
Things in our life that we can't control. They're fixed. We have no choice.
What is my
Rain
measure?
today, you couldn't
Do I
do
matter?
without the rain.
That matter is
You
the same
couldn't
as the word
change the
meter.
family you were born into, for better or worse.
Do I matter? And so they get this
There are fixed situations in our life, and the weft is how we approach them.
and are
We
playing
move,
all
do we
sorts
go
of
up,
social
do we
games.
go down,
tied in
are
with
we
it.
loose, are we
Very
tight?
serious.
How do we approach
Then
through
when
that?
golf is over, they'll go to the bridge table.
And with the awareness, the
When they're
mindfulness,
completely
the
worn out, they'll get
wakefulness,
vaguely drunk.
it's allowed me to see is how am
And
I
this
moving
grim
that
pursuit of
left
pleasure.
as it goes through the work.
And the religious
In
people
some weird ways, it's also allowed me to go back
they
and
do
see
their
some
meditations
readings from earlier parts of my
40 minutes
life,
before
the
breakfast.
earlier parts of the tapestry,
No?
and
Meditate.
notice things in the way that the weft
Then
will
they've got
open the
stages
warp that
they
I
can
hadn't
get
seen before. And see them
And they
for
wonder whether
you know,
so-and-so is doing yoga with
just
Mr. X.
one possibility,
So-and-so's doing
one
it with
thought,
Swami
one
B.
perception of the past.
Mrs.
that
X's
helps me
followers
perceive
afraid
it
that
differently.
Swami is phony.
I'm rambling.
And it's not quite the real thing. Well, how do you know whether he's the real thing or not? Well, the genuine Swamis can perform magic. And they can remain undecomposed in forest lawn for an indefinite period. without benefit of embalming. Crazy. You know, what does that prove? You see, it's the same old thing. That is spiritual technology. And the people who want power, who want to get there fast, who want results now, the same temperament that wants it in the management of the material world wants it in the management of the spiritual world. My yoga is more efficient than yours because it's faster. I'm going to get there.
I guess in a sense, where I'm at right
So,
now.
we come to the great question. Where is there?
The end of summer.
You're going to get there.
Almost.
Where is it? What do you want? Where are you going?
So that meditation is a process of allowing ourselves to
Very
just
few people know. Some people have a precise,
the beautiful thing in
I would say,
allowing
discipline,
ourselves to just be
clear sense.
as we begin to see the stories and the narratives and create space and build compassion and love for ourselves. It starts with just being.
Most people, you see, when they think of pleasure, they don't have any very definite idea. Or else they have a definite idea which isn't really what they wanted. When they get it, they don't like it. So the saying, be careful of what you desire, you may get it. But fundamentally then, the question arises, where is there? Where's your rush? Where are you going? To what are you progressing? Stop and look. Because you may be there already, only that you don't notice it. From the point of view of a starving Indian in a Calcutta slum, we are all as lucky as Maharajas. You're there. You've arrived.
This one's going to be different.
But you say, it can't last. Eventually, I'm going to turn into a corpse.
Happens if I just
Take a pain.
don't allow myself to give up.
A terminal case in hospital, you know, a lot of tubes.
And the confidence to keep going.
So I don't want to disintegrate.
And through that, treat everything, everyone,
So,
especially myself,
how
with
can I?
compassion.
So you turn
What
to religion.
happens?
Say,
Where
well,
will
that's
that take
physical demise is an unfortunate limitation of the body. So I'm going to identify myself as something beyond the body. So that I can believe that that will go on. That will be the true vehicle of my personality. I shan't lose all that I've acquired, carrying around with me my bag of rubbish. I managed to smuggle it across the border. They say you can't take it with you. But you can if the guards can't notice it, because the baggage is spiritual. Hey, do you know what the gate of heaven is? Hear about the pearly gates? People think it's gates decorated with pearls. It isn't. The gate of heaven, it says in the book of Revelation, is one pearl. Because it's got a string. You've got to get through that.
We got food for you. Number
And you
2.
can't get through if you've got a lot of baggage.
How was it? Yeah, I know, it's beautiful.
So you've got to leave your
Promise,
past
the whole
behind.
run out there, you gotta look
Star
at
on
the
the
ground.
ground right now. Just
to get
finished
through.
a 100K.
And what happens to you when you get rid of your past?
Nice
Forget
job.
it all. Forget who you are.
You let me know
The
whatever
future,
you need.
of course, is the
Get it.
past, reflected in your rear vision mirror.
You gonna pull a tarot card?
And
Yeah, I got one
says,
left.
He borrowed the metaphor from me.
Gotcha.
We like people driving, looking at their rear vision
Flip
mirror.
this video around. How do you do that?
So you've got to let go of all that past in order to get in through the pearly
we
gate.
got the Father of Swords. You know why?
What is
Insight. Maybe I learned something about myself out there.
Can't bring out your distinguished accomplishments, the things you've done, because they say, well, you've done all that, but let's see what you can do now. Huh? Where are you? Who are you when you have no past? After all, there isn't any past. Where is it? Twist your common sense around and see that you're not being shoved by the past, you're just leaving it behind like tracks. It's not pushing you unless you insist on it. You can always pass the buck. Everybody does that. They say, oh, I'm a neurotic mess because my mother was a neurotic mess. I never had a fair chance in life. And somebody says to your mother, well, you shouldn't have brought up a child like that. Well, she says, it's too bad, I know, but I couldn't help it. I was a neurotic mess, and my father was just appalling, and my mother was dreadful. And they looked back over their shoulder and said, well, it was our parents. Everybody passes the buck to the past. Until it gets back to Adam and Eve. And you know what happened there. They passed the buck too, to the serpent. And God looked at the serpent. He didn't ask, hast thou eaten the fruit of the tree whereof I told thee thou shouldst not eat it? He looked at the serpent didn't say anything. So the serpent, the wiggle, it really doesn't have a past because it wiggles from its head backwards to the tail. And it's always the head where it starts. So, are you a head? Or are you just a tail? Do you move backwards or forwards? Which way are you going? See, if you're leaving your past behind you, it doesn't drive you. It wells up out of a mysterious present, ever new. This moment is the creation of the universe. It's starting now. If you look back and wonder whether there was a big bang a long time ago, all you'll see is vanishing traces. The big bang is happening now. This is when the world begins. You're doing it. Only you're not doing it by straining. A you deeper than the straining you is doing all this. The same you that is growing your hair and colouring your eyes and making your thumbprints and all that. But you don't think about it. You don't strain muscles to do it. But that is what is creating the world. Here it comes. Now. So instead of thinking that the past is the reality which explains everything that happens now, let's look at now and see it happening. Where does it happen from? That's a question asked only by people who think that the past causes the present. They always want to know where it comes from. Who started it? What makes it happen? Supposing nothing makes it happen. Supposing it happens. Well, what is it that happens? Again, we get to this basic question. What is it that you want? Where is it? What you're looking for? It's the same question as what is reality? What is now? What is life? You won't get at it by analysis of all sorts of things into their components. You won't get it by labeling it in various ways and calling it names. You can only find out what it is by looking at it, by feeling it directly. And all kinds of classification where we say, well, it's animal, vegetable, mineral, it's this, that, and the other thing, is putting it in boxes and tidying it up. That's how you tidy up. You put everything away in a box. And then you've got boxes inside boxes and all that sort of thing. It's tidied up. But when it's all put away in boxes, you can't see it. Instead of putting everything in boxes, let's just look at it the way it comes. Now, that's enough to start with. I've therefore discussed the principle of the necessity of wiggling
Only when I say necessity, you mustn't take that word in a Calvinistic sense. We'll talk about the pleasure of wiggling as a means of adaptation to the wiggly world.